And there's a lot of women out there that will date for dinner, that will date just for the attention, and you're wasting your time and effort when they're really not interested in you.
Do not waste time with, in your words, women who are difficult. We hear this death of the traditional man, the traditional sort of, gender roles. Not judging anybody. If that's what you want as a man of a certain generation, you want to lead, what you're saying is do not waste your time. It's a numbers game, so do not waste your time with women who are difficult.
For my taste, yes.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Hate Dating Apps. I'm Gina.
And this is Daniel.
So Daniel, a lot of men tell me this. I hear this over and over where they say, I do not know what the fuck to do anymore. Like they can't approach girls. They don't know how to talk to girls. They don't know how to match with girls. They don't know how to get dates with girls. Like it is just getting so bad out there. And so I thought today we would talk to somebody who kind of exemplifies the frustrations that men face. And I would say, especially men of a certain age, right? Because it's one thing if all you've ever known is dating apps. And so you're adept at what that means and the world in which you're occupying. And it's a whole nother thing if you weren't used to dating apps and you were used to meeting people a certain way, AKA in real life. Mm-hmm. And then those means have now gone away. And now all they want you to do is interact with a phone. So I thought we would just let somebody have a gripe session and then figure out what it is that we can do to help our male audience kind of understand that we're all in the same boat and let's help each other out.
Well, I don't know if we're all in the same boat. I think men and women are in very different boats, and so we're going to
women have their own. Yeah,
women have their own issues, and so we have a guest today to bring the male perspective. But you're right. I mean, we're not saying that men have it necessarily worse than women, guys. We're saying that men have of a certain age specifically, right? Men of my age, actually, of a certain generation, because we didn't grow up with dating apps, we didn't grow up with social media, so I think it's particularly harder. And also, there are more of us out there, like because divorce rates are higher. So there are a lot more single middle-aged men out there trying to find women. And it's exasperating because the rules have changed. And let's face it, women have changed too. Like norms have changed. So I think that's very, very true. Men of a certain age, of a certain generation are having a particular set of challenges when it comes to dating apps and dating nowadays.
And that's not really a big surprise, right?
No,
You might have kids,
Right.
You might be divorced, you might have properties, you might have a very full-fledged career. You don't necessarily have a lot of time, and dating apps suck up a lot of time. So that adds to the challenges, I would say, of being a very settled kind of mature person trying to play the game that very young people are playing as well.
So we have someone who's had a very first-hand experience with all of this.
Yeah, and I think he's a little frustrated, but I think he's also got some kind of tips and tricks of how he's been able to navigate all of this. It's our friend Michel. And Michel, I know you through a good friend of mine, and you and she went out on a date. And we don't have to say who that friend is. But Michel, tell us about who you are a little bit, where you live, and your experience on the dating apps.
Well, thank you for having me on your show. My name is Michel. I'm originally from Canada. Came here almost like 27 years ago and got married, had kids, got divorced about 2008. My kids are adults now, and so I can devote a little bit more time on dating. Although about 2 years ago, I had a relationship for about 7 years, and that ended with a woman that was like. I would say almost perfect, but she's very jealous and very insecure, and that caused some issues in our relationship. So now back to the dating game. When I got divorced, I had to learn how to uh, maneuver around the dating apps, and also how to talk to women and how to make it interesting. So and then now, after almost, I don't know if I can call myself an expert, but um, I figured out ways to streamline the process, because I mean, a lot of guys I hear go on dates and they think they're making it, and they don't set prerequisite for themselves, and then they just keep on dating and dating. And there's a lot of women out there that will date for dinner, that will date just the attention, and you're wasting your time and effort when they're really not interested in you. And so I've kind of figured out how to wean out these women very easily.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
Well, what are your
I think,
top frustrations that, over the past, I guess, 2 years of dating consistently on dating apps? Um, what have been your top gripes?
well, I think is that I get a lot of matches, and like everybody else, it kind of peters off. You go back and forth. And I try to do maybe at the max like two, three back and forth, and then I ask for the phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say about 10% of women will say, "Oh no, give me your number." And then for me, my way of getting rid of a woman that might be difficult is I let her know. I said, like today, women complain that men don't lead anymore. And in the real world, if a man asks you for your phone number and then you refuse to give it to him, and then you say, let me have your number, then it means you're not interested. And so that's what I
Mm,
tell these women. And then a lot of them will say, well, you don't know what we deal with. I've been stalked before. And it's like, well, how many times? One time? It's like, and then now you're going to judge all men. And then I learned a pretty good line from Kevin Samuel. He says, make a man in your present pay for what another man did to you in your past equals no future. So I'll throw that at them
mm,
and whatever. Some of them get offended and they delete me. So I'm totally happy to get rid of them. And because I know they're going to be difficult. Look, if you can't relinquish your number, if you can't leave me to lead, then I don't want to be with you. But a lot
mm-hmm.
of men will relinquish their masculinity to the women, and I think that's the first mistake they make.
So do you
And then
not give them your
when
number?
N- n-
no, I mean I because if I well if I oftentimes I'm the one asking for the number,
Yeah.
and then I would say 80% of the time, the women just reply, sure, finally we're getting off the app. I couldn't wait. Here's my number.
Oh,
But
okay.
then you have the difficult women that will say, well, let me have your number. And I said, no, I'm the man. I lead. I let them know. I said, this is just a small gesture that will set up the futures. Like, because there are some women that they complain we're all the good men, but they're boss chicks.
Mm.
They're difficult to handle. And then if you cannot relinquish your number so easily, I just don't want to deal with you. And
Question
it's a
for you,
very
Michel.
simple thing. And
Yeah.
I might get rid of a woman that could be a great potential, but it's a numbers game. And I don't want to start investing from experience. When I did give my number out, and oh, so here's the other thing: they start investigating your number, they see certain things, and they
Mm.
start spinning stories in their head. And like for example, my number, if you Google it, it's attached to my apartment building in Bakersfield, and there used to be somebody that had running a business here before I bought the building, but Google can never take that number. It says all that entertainment, and I've had women say, "Are you in the porn industry?" I said, "No."
Right.
So what the hell are you
But
talking about?
Michelle,
This is real.
yeah.
I
So
can't get it changed.
I got a question for you.
So
So, in terms of,
yeah,
so what you were saying earlier that you have this streamlined methodology to this. So, is that part of your methodology? Is do not waste time with, in your words, women who are difficult. Like
yes,
if you want to be a man who leads, traditional man, and I think like you and I are a similar generation, and there's a lot of chatter in social media. We hear this in a lot of sort of the death of the traditional man, the traditional sort of gender roles, and not judging anybody. If that's what you want as a man of a certain generation, you want to lead. What you're saying is, do not waste your time. It's a numbers game, so do not waste your time with women who are difficult.
for my taste, yes,
Uh huh.
because you're going to invest a month, 2 months, and as you get older, if you start thinking about it, when you're 20 years old, you got 50 years ahead of you. But when you're 50 years old and you say, look, how many more years do I have to live? 20 years? Let's say 70, 76, the life expectancy. divide divide 20 years in 6 months. There's only 40 of those, and then so
Mm.
you're going to spend 6 months with someone and hit the wall in 6 months, and then you look back and you say, well, there was a lot of red flags, and I invested 6 months for nothing. And so you chose to close your eyes on the red flags, and
But
You know,
don't you
I
think? Don't
I
you
always want
think?
to be
Don't you think though that leads to a bit to snap judgment? I mean, and I'm not saying necessarily snap judgments are bad if you are dealing with numbers. If you think about this as a numbers game and you want it to be efficient, you have to come up with some efficient way of eliminating women that you don't want to waste your time with. So, but it does lead to a snap judgment. But do
I
you?
agree.
Yeah, but do you?
I
Yeah, do
agree.
you think
The
that?
snap,
But what are your thoughts on we live in different times now, and some women might have legitimate preoccupation about giving their number out because they were stalked. And to your point, did it happen just once or twice? The fact is, it happens, right? I don't know what the real
I,
statistics are on it.
I
Yeah.
understand, and my answer to that is like tough luck. I mean, like it's like
Mm.
a lot of women are in the business world and they have no problems. I know about that. It's like, whatever. It's like I can block somebody. And then I tell women, it's like, well, you can always block somebody. Well, they can call from a different number. Well, why are you picking up a number from a that you don't recognize? I'm a man. I get phone calls that I don't recognize. I don't pick them up.
Yep.
Nobody harasses me. And so when you start rationalizing, because it's their first line of defense that they throw at you is like you're just using that. You want to take control. That's how I see it. And of course, it could be a snap judgment, but I do the same thing in my business when I deal with clients and I talk to them on the phone. I start feeling a little bit of difficulties, and I've learned to just step away. I don't want to deal with this client because when I engage, they become abusive. Okay, can you
Mm.
do this for free? Can you do this for free? No, I can't. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. And then suddenly they become belligerent, or they say they want to end the contract, but they don't want to pay you. I've been there, done that, and then now I transpose that into the dating world. And if you're a woman that's 45 years old and you have a problem, and then you mention one mistake of a man that did in the past, like, I'm sorry, it's like I'm not responsible for other men's problem. And sometimes some women will say, okay, sure, here it is, you lead, here's my number, there we go, perfect, thank you. And then maybe it doesn't go further, and then there was a reason for it, I don't know. And women also make a lot of snap judgment because
Hmm.
I remember listening to somebody in the radio when I was married, Tom Likas. He used to say, try to say as little as possible when you talk to women because they will reject you based on one word, on a sentence that you say. They just reject you so easily. So women do the same thing. So I
Right.
I've
Yeah.
learned to
I think people
streamline the
do that.
process that
It's
way.
yeah. I mean,
And
men and women do that.
right. And so in the same fashion, how I would describe, I mean, there's three types of dates, right? There's like a coffee date, drink dates, and then the dinner dates.
Uh-huh.
I've learned early on that the dinner dates, what happens, oftentimes there's women that are dating for dinner. And so to the point where
How
it's like,
often has that happened to you where a woman went out on a date with you and just wanted to get a dinner out of you?
well, I mean, I'll give you an example. A woman and I would go on a date, and we sit down, we eat, and then I'm ready to pay for the bill, and then she has the nerve to say, "Do you mind if I order another entree to
Oh,
bring
Right.
home for tomorrow?"
shit.
How often does that
And,
happen? How
no,
often has that happened to
well,
you?
okay, so that's one example. And
Mhm.
then I said to her, "Hey, I'm sorry, but it's like, do you want me to take you out to the grocery store also afterwards?" It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
Right.
But and then you have, I would I would talk to a woman, let's say an hour before we're supposed to meet. She goes like, "What do you plan about us doing?" And I said, "I thought we could just go sit down. Hi, we could sit down and just have a few drinks." And she says, "Oh, oh," you could see she's disappointed. And then and then she would text me back 15 minutes. Oh, something else came up because she wants dinner in
Oh,
exchange
God.
for time. And so that's why I refuse to go for dinner dates because see, the intention is to spend. Women will discredit you right away within 5-10 minutes. They see you, they look at you, and then they don't like you, but they'll go on with the dinner because they want to get paid for their time. I've heard so many women say that as like, "Oh, I deserve. I'm going to put my
True.
makeup, my
Right.
hair, whatever, my nails, and I expect something in exchange for that. Blah blah blah." So
But
I'm not going to
isn't
get
that,
caught
but
in
Michelle, I
that
mean,
game.
just to understand your mentality about this though, because you're right. Sometimes everybody makes snap judgments, right? But
Yep.
when you're saying when you're saying to that woman who said, well, I got stalked, you don't know, and you're like, well, how often? But it seems like to me when men say, oh, women are out there just to get a free dinner on these dating apps, that's also seems like an overgeneralization. And for you to
Well,
generalize that that's
I
what women are
agree.
doing.
I I agree, but at the same time, see, if a woman really wants to meet me, she'll meet me in front of a glass of water or a drink. And then I've had other women that say, "Oh, you're that type of guy. You want to get the women drunk, and then so you can take advantage of her." I'm, oh my god, it's like I can't believe you. And and then so if a woman come back with a type of retort like that, she is she's going to screw loose or something to immediately jump to a conclusion. And I say basically, I say, I'm sorry, I don't do coffee dates because and if you have a conversation, I try to be playful and so forth, and I try to kind of say what I expect. And so for me, after a date, if everything goes good, I expect a kiss. And then some women, I
Oh.
give you an example. I give you an example. I meet a woman, and so we met at this French restaurant on Sunset, and it was just going to be free drinks, maybe some appetizer. And I always say that, so let's have a few drinks. If everything goes good, if you're hungry, we can order appetizer. If you don't like me, you can just take a beeline for the bathroom and escape through the bathroom window. I'll make sure I pick a restaurant that has a window in the bathroom. So you bring in some humor. So I meet her in the parking lot, and she scans me upside down, and she checks my shoes, of course, and
What?
then she comes and give me a hug, and I expect to give her a kiss on both cheeks, but she she goes directly for the lips, and we're like, wow,
Oh my
perfect, this
gosh.
is good, and
Yeah.
I know she liked me because again, from the pickup artist, you pick up DIOI, indicator of interest. And so we're sitting, and I always try to pick up a booth. I don't pick up a table. Here's the problem with a table: it puts an object between the two of you, and it creates like kind of a job interview style. You want to be next to each other at a bar, which is a perfect, or even in a booth in a restaurant. So you can order a drink, and then as she talks to you, she start turning towards you. And then she start liking you, and then she start grooming herself. She places her hair. I try to place my hair, but I can't. So she, she she does all sorts of signs that shows that she's interested in you. And
Mm-hmm.
then afterward, so everything goes good. We order some appetizer because we spend more time. But after 15, 20 minutes, if you don't like each other, you end the drink and you part ways. And so now we're done. We go back down the stairs where the back parking lot is. And so now I reach out to her to give her a hug, and now I expect a kiss. She kissed me on the lips as we walked in, and now she turns it to the cheek, both sides, and I said, "What is that?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I expect a kiss. I expected a kiss." And she goes, "Oh, I don't kiss on the first date." And this is a 45-year-old woman
Wait, but she
that
kissed you when she first met you on the lips, and then in the goodbye, she didn't kiss you on the lips?
That's right. Because see, what I'm saying is like
Uh,
some women will use sex as a dangle the carrots. And so they will not, it's like she kissed me on the lips, but it was not a French kiss. It was,
oh
and
yeah.
I'm so,
All
okay, so now
right. Yeah.
this is the,
Then
this
you
is
wouldn't have
the,
gone to the dinner. You would have gone straight to the motel.
Oh my
well, I
With the
God.
mean,
French
it's
kiss.
Motel, geez. Yeah.
not, I wouldn't expect that far, but I mean, you
Right.
could tell that she likes me. I knew she liked me. And so, and then her indicator of interest throughout the date, she's turning and she's touching my shoulder, she's touching my lap. So then on the way out, she decided she's going to step it back, and she's going to dangle the carrot. And she said, "Oh, I don't kiss on the first date." I said, "You kissed me as we walked in the restaurant before we walked in the restaurant."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I'm sorry, but you know, um, we're not 16-year-old anymore where you're saving yourself a marriage, and in you saying that you're going to step it back, and I don't and she says, "Oh, what makes you think we're not going to kiss on the second date?" I said, "I don't think they're going to be a second date because I think you're using sex as a tool to manipulate men. It should go organically. If you met me, you kissed me on the lips, I knew you liked me, you should have had no problem to kiss me. We're not having sex in the parking lot. It's just a kiss. It's a progression. It's not a digression."
So
Did you
And so,
say did you say all that to her, Michelle?
oh yeah,
yeah.
and then she says,
It
"Oh
doesn't seem
wow,"
like Michel has a
and
problem saying whatever he feels.
Yeah.
oh, I'm very vocal, and I
Yeah.
have no problem throwing out that because at that point I know it's over for me because
Right.
I will not. If you're playing this kind of game, because I was married to a woman that used sex as a power tool and or a
Oh.
punishing tool, and we've
Right.
been to therapy. The therapist would tell her like, "Give it to him, and you'll go get it somewhere else," and then she comes home and spreads eagle like Jesus on the cross, and she says, "Go ahead, use my vagina."
Oh
And I
my
said,
God.
at that point, I knew we're heading for divorce,
Yeah.
and so there's a series of things like that. So I'm kind of keen on this kind of a game playing, and they tease you to kiss you on the lips. Oh, I can't do that now. It's going to be like 3 days.
So
I mean, I had
yeah.
a friend of mine that said he went on a woman. It's just like no sex for 9 months. I said, "Are
Yeah.
you crazy?"
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors. Our sponsor, Take My Face Off, makes swiping off your makeup just as easy as swiping past a bad profile. Seriously, the MIDI from Take My Face Off is this adorable facial mitt that makes skin cleansing faster, easier, and more thorough than any other method I've tried. I seriously love this product. Next time you're tempted to grab a face wipe, use a MIDI instead. It's just as fast, but it's better for your skin and the planet. Get free shipping with the discount code DATING at takemyfaceoff.com.
And he went for it.
Michelle, hold on a second. Like, I think that's a really interesting thought. This because it's something that we hear a lot from men, that women use sex as they manipulate with sex as something, like as if it's something that men want and women withhold and use that. And I think that's a real true power dynamic. But I would like to hear from you, Gina, as a woman, in the modern era. And I think the power dynamics and what Michelle is saying is that a lot of stuff is changing.
Well,
is that
first
what,
of all,
yeah, what do you think?
I have a whole lot of things about.
Okay.
I have a whole lot of things to say about everything that Michel has said. I was just trying to hear him out. Initially, when you talked about, there are women who will be like, "Oh, at the end of the dinner, do you mind if I take an entree to go?" Fuck that. Oh, hell no. That just makes me so angry that women are like that, and I have to, I can't apologize for all women, but you are absolutely right in that.
Well, hold on a second. Women are not like that. That woman was like that.
That woman is like that.
Let's be clear. Like, men are like that. Like, this is what we have to be very careful, in my opinion, because I think we're generalizing.
No. I didn't say women are like that.
No, you said women are like that.
No, I said if a woman is like that.
Right.
Yeah, if a woman is like that, then I have to apologize for that, because that should not be the way. That's clearly somebody who's, like you said, there to get a free dinner. Having said that, of course, I don't want you to think that
women are like that.
Women are like that, because obviously I'm not like that.
Right.
90% of women.
It's a small percentage, and as your friend that referred me to you had said, she says, I've never met women like that, and I said, of course, because you're not like that. You associate with the same type of people, but we men are pursuing women, and we run into these type of women, and they do exist.
I know. I have a friend.
Exist, yeah.
I have a friend who told me, like, on like date number 2 or something, some girl said, "Oh, are you going to pay for my mani pedi because I'm doing that for you?"
Oh.
And I'm just like, hell no, she didn't say that,
Right.
So yes, there are embarrassing women as there are embarrassing men all the way around. Now, in terms of the kissing thing that you were saying, that also seems to be an isolated incident. I don't know too many women who will, on date number 1, go and straight up, like right when she meets the man, kiss him on the lips, because that is sending a message. So I think you just got a one-off. I think you got kind of an unusual breed of woman. However, whether that happened or not, my thoughts about how it ended, Michelle, is that I think you could have gone to date number 2 or date number 3 if you hadn't gone there. If you had just said, okay, I'm a little confused because I thought, we kissed.
I agree.
And then
you know why
you left
you know
it.
why I didn't go on a second date?
Why?
I didn't want to go on a second date because I have options. I do get a stream of women, and I've learned from
So you
experience.
thought just put it out there, don't even hold back.
Yeah, when she used that, and I have past experience from my ex-wife and a couple of women I ran into or I dated, and they started to use sex as a power tool. So whenever somebody, or the girlfriend I had for 7 years when I met, and she says, I love sex, and then her and I were kissing the first date in the parking lot from Century City Mall, and then a little bit of hanky-pankying, and then the second date, it went a little further, and then within 3 dates, we're having sex. And because, see, here's the thing, men, Kevin Samuel said it best. I'm not inventing that. She says dating is about having sex, because men will make the decision after sex if the woman, because the woman could be very attractive. It could be, you could have a great conversation, but then she's a doormat in bed, and then, or she's not pleasing sexually. Physically attractive.
Well, it goes both ways. Women don't want to have a boyfriend that they're not sexually compatible with. So yeah,
right.
It goes both ways.
But again, it's like, there are some women that'll just keep pushing it and make you think that and then you go out and you treat them. And as an example, I go on 2 dates, kiss on the first date, kiss on the second date, and then I tried to contact her within a day or so. When are you available Friday? Are you? She said, no, I'm not. Are you available Saturday? No, I'm not. And then, are you available Sunday? No, I'm going to be out with my daughter doing it. And so I've suggested 3 times, and
Mm-hmm.
she's not even coming back and saying, but I'm available on Monday. But now it's her turn. After I asked for 3 times and she just said, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. It's like, well, if you got to show some interest after 2 dates that we kissed and you're not coming back and say, but I'm available on Tuesday. She's not. She's just waiting for me to keep on chasing. And at that point, I see it as a game. And I
Yeah.
also step away.
Well, so I'm in agreement with you there. If somebody's not meeting you halfway and they're making you propose all the dates and they're not
Yeah.
saying when they're available, that could mean two things. One, she's not interested in you and she doesn't want to just come out straight and say it. And so she's just
Well, I
like,
mean,
no, I'm not
keep
available
in
pretty
mind,
much on any
we're having
date.
we're having these passionate kiss after the first and second
It
date.
doesn't
It's
necessarily
just like,
mean that she still wants to continue to see you, right? I mean, I could enjoy a
well,
kiss and then
when
decide you're not for me.
no, but I think they want to keep on get you.
Right.
I think they're
Or maybe she does want to be pursued, and
because
then you're not
well,
obligated to
Well,
play
it's
that
not.
they
game.
want
It's
to
not.
be
It's
pursued
not. It's not.
because
Hold on. It's not even. It's not even about. This is the disconnect. When you as a woman from your experience said, like, and I hear this from women, I want to be pursued, I want to be an object of desire, and what woman doesn't want it? And that's the whole old school thought. It's like
Right.
men pursue, women are pursued, right? So but what Michelle is saying is like at this stage in my life, I'm sick and tired of the games, folks. Like, you start playing games with me, like you're interested and you're not interested, you withhold it, and then it's like, oh, hey boy, if you want this prize, you better dance for me, monkey. And it's like, men are like, we're fucking sick and tired of
Yeah,
playing
but
monkey.
most
Hold on,
women
hold on.
don't do that.
No, hold on. That's what I'm getting to. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting to.
Okay.
But obviously, Michelle, this is what I'm trying to get to. It's like Michelle is saying, my perception, the way I go about the world, is informed by my experiences in the past of dealing with this woman. And what he's saying is like, I'm tired of the games. I don't want to play the games. So what I'm interested in hearing from you, like you're
Okay.
saying, obviously not all women are like that, but it's true that women like that exist. So here's
Mm-hmm.
the disconnect. Here's a guy who's tired of, because he's had experience with these women, and obviously it's not that these women don't exist, right? And you're saying, well, those might have been isolated. There may be 20% of the time, 30%. Who knows what the statistic is? But how do you now convince somebody like Michelle, then say, and like, he's going about this in a very, in my opinion, in a very sort of pragmatic way, because he's tired of sort of the emotions part. It's like, he's very like, practical about this. Like, it's all about the numbers, it's all about efficiency. While you saying, hey, have some hope. How do you give hope back to a man who's lost hope because of all his negative experiences that he had with women in the past?
The hope, Michelle, is that you only need to find one. And yes, most women are not going to be for you. And certainly,
I know that.
yeah. And so the hope is that you just, the thing that I'd really love to maybe impart, if and I'm not here to give you advice, that's not the point of this episode. But what I try to tell men that I know that are very discouraged from this experience, like, I don't know what the fuck to do, I don't know what the fuck to say, I don't know what the fuck they want anymore, is that you just happen to get the women that you do not want to be with, because there are a lot of, kind of not such good partners out there. And I can say the same for you. There are so many men I don't want to be with, because I have had also extremely negative experiences on the dating apps, right? So what you need to do is you need to, when somebody, for instance, let's go back to this example, after 2 dates of passionate kissing, the third one, you're like, what about this date? What about that date? And she's like, nope, nope, and nope, and nope. And she doesn't give any alternatives.
Well,
The worst thing for you to do would be to then go negative and say, what the fuck is going on, girl? Because then that's a
there's no
total.
reason. I don't even engage at that point. I don't even
What
try
happened
like
there
4
then?
days later.
What
Huh?
what ended up happening?
I just leave it dormant, and I don't. I move on because
That's the best thing for you to do, because you're like, I ain't gonna play in your game, girl, and she ain't
there's
for
no
you
reason.
unless
There's
she
no
comes
reason to
back.
say anything negative to her. There's no reason to say anything negative to
I
her
agree.
or to test her, because it could go, oh, I am sorry, and then she could play me even further and
Yep.
then try to take another date from me, and then we're gonna hit the wall. Or, but if she is truly interested, she'll ponder the next 2, 3 days or a week, whatever. And it's happened. Like after a week, a woman said, "Hey, you know what happened to you? I didn't hear back." And I kind of lost the attraction because you played some games. And there's, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." It's like I think it's foretelling. It's very foretelling. Just like when I'm on the dating website, I say, can let me give me your number. I will text you, and we'll find a common time to talk, so we don't play phone tag. Because see,
Mm-hmm.
the phone tag could also be a a train wreck right at the beginning.
Totally.
And so I text them, and like 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll text you in the morning. Good morning. I'm here. If you're available during the day, let me know when you're available. Blah blah blah. Some of them don't respond all day. Some of them, hi. I can't talk during the day, but I can talk at 5 o'clock. So they're communicative. But
Yeah.
some women don't respond all day, and they
Oh, I
respond
know.
at 11 o'clock at night, and they say, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I just saw this." Now I know she's
No,
playing
you
games.
didn't. That's
And
right,
so
bitch. You did
Right.
not just see that. I totally
So
agree.
you weed them out right away. There's
Yep.
no point in it's like seriously, you had a text, and when we leave the app, you say, I'm so thankful you asked for my number. This is so difficult to communicate on the app, but then we get on the phone, it's not getting better. You don't even respond, and you're just trying to claim that you just saw this. It's like, no, you're just lying.
I know.
I'm
Well,
gone.
I mean, just FYI, men do that too.
Of course, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
I've had men
So
where they were like, "Oh, I
I mean,
didn't see this 3 days later," and I'm like,
no,
"Really?
no.
Yeah."
No,
So,
for guys and for girls, I mean, or men that are wondering what to do when you have people that come in like this and they make statements that don't ring through in your head, it's time to bail.
that's
You're just
right.
wasting your time. A person that's truly interested in you respond with a certain amount of time. They respond within 10, 15 minutes. They create a pattern. And then when you try to set up the date, they don't respond for like 5, 6 hours. And they come back. "Oh, I was on a plane. I was in Cabo." It's like, well, there's Wi-Fi in
Yeah,
Cabo.
hello.
And so it's like, goodbye.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it's a numbers game. Like I said, you get 100 numbers, and then you'll get maybe possible 10 dates out of that. Or you chit chat, whatever, it doesn't go anywhere. But I think it's persistence is very important. Just like anything else. In my business, I have to persist to get clients, and eventually your name gets out there, and then you start getting a stream, a flow of clients and so forth. But if I didn't persist, I wouldn't make my name. I'm not saying that in a dating game it would be the same thing, but at the same time, you're gonna hit the wall several times. And like you said, not everybody's for me, of course. But I persisted with the girlfriend I had for 7 years. She was a great woman. I wish I would still be with her. She was not jealous and insecure. And I told her that. And I just can't do it. We went to therapy together. And then the therapist told her, you know, look in your past. Why is it that you're doing this? And then she tried to blame me. And I said, no, no, look at your ex husband. You didn't tell the therapist what your ex husband
So
did.
you broke up
So,
with her?
huh?
You broke up with her?
Well, because she kept making accusation, and her phone is locked, my phone is unlocked, and then she spies on my phone at night, finds phone numbers that women I texted before I dated her, and reach out to them to find out if I'm
Oh, hell
talking to them
no.
now. And this has happened like at year number 6, and then her phone is locked, and her Facebook account. I started, your Facebook account has no pictures of me, and my Facebook has got
Oh,
you, your daughter, and I, blah blah blah. And she defended it, and she tried to accuse me of doing some stuff behind her back, but she was the one doing it. And so,
red flag.
um,
Well, we don't need to get into
okay,
your previous
no,
relationship,
right,
but what I do
no,
want to
sorry.
hear from you is if because you've also we unfortunately don't have time to get into all the ways that
Because
women have.
No,
yeah,
no,
there's not
Yeah,
enough time in the
there's not
world.
enough time to talk about
All
all
of
the
our
burning
episodes.
that
Yeah.
has happened with Michelle. But if you were to give some advice to women out there, whether it's IRL or whether on the dating apps, what are some, top 5 things that you want us to keep in mind?
Oh, I mean, as advice to women, it's like it's kind of. I mean, I don't know. I mean, who am I to tell them? I mean,
Well,
I
but I
I
mean,
think
your problem is
I
probably echoed by so many other men on the apps,
I,
right?
I would say stop playing games and just be frank with the person and just like, hey,
Mm,
listen, or be responsive. If you're attracted to the guy, don't wait the two. I mean, there's that. After a date, you got to wait 2 days to respond back. You don't want to look too
eager.
anxious.
Yeah.
Right. And but because you waited 2 days, then you say, "Hi, how you doing?" And then she's going to wait another 2 days. That's kind of stupid, because she's trying to pay you back because you made her wait for 2 days. Um, so and I don't know. Maybe after the first date, the person can tell you, "I really like you. I'd like to see you again." So that gives the guy maybe an extra boost to pursue further. Um, and I don't know. It's like,
Clear
but it's
communication. I think that's what
sometimes,
you're saying. Just
huh?
clear communication. I'd love to see you
Well,
again, or
of course,
I'm available
but
this date, or I'm not
well,
interested.
right. Well, I mean, look, I mean, it's happened 2 weeks ago. I met a woman and everything was good, and she was like, you could see she's interested. When I met her in the parking lot, gave me a big hug. She squeezed me really hard. I was like, "Oh, whoa, whoa," and but just kiss on the cheek. And at the end, we kiss on the lips, and then blah blah blah. But she kind of cut it short, and I could see she was digging on questions to try to figure out where I'm at. Do I have a house? Do I have a castle? Do I have $1 million retirement funds or
Oh,
whatever?
geez.
And and then sometime when women are going that route, they say, "Yeah, I live on a tent under the freeway and with the homeless," and so it's just like to try to diffuse this. And of course, I've been through a divorce. I've lost quite a bit, and I had to rebuild it. And I don't own a home anymore. I had to make a decision: do I buy a house or do I buy investment property? I just investment property. But so some women are looking for a man with a house because they're living in an apartment. They want to move into a house, and so
Oh,
uh,
oh.
she texted me the follow. She engaged with me back and forth, and I know she was like reluctant. And then eventually, I threw a joke at her, and she said, "You know what? I don't think we're meant to be together." And I said, "Yeah." I knew this is where you're going, so I could feel it. So because
Mm.
I didn't have a castle in Beverly Hills or something.
Yeah, you don't want her anyway. You don't want somebody
No,
who's
no,
looking for a
of
castle
course
in
not.
Beverly
Because I mean,
Hills. Yeah.
they're at a stage, and they complain that they have to raise their kids, and they're almost adults now. And then they've been playing the field. The woman, like for example, has been playing the field, and she was like traveling around the world, and now she's like 46 years old. Her ex boyfriend died, didn't leave her anything, and then she's pissed that she's living in an apartment, and she's looking for she should be living in a house. It's like,
Red
well, you're not going to
flag.
come and live in my
Run
house.
away from people like that.
Yeah, you're not gonna come and live in my tent under the freeway.
Yeah. Well,
you
and you
better
don't
you
live
better
under a freeway. Come
you,
on.
you better find
No,
somebody
of
who
course
owns
not. Of
a
course not. But
cast.
it's
Yeah.
just like the sarcastic comment.
Unless you have a castle in Beverly Hills, you're not entitled to that woman. I think. Well, Michelle, thank you so much. This is like we always say in
It's
all of
always
this.
eye opening
Yeah, it's eye
when we
opening, and
hear people like Michelle,
we could talk on for
because
hours. But
we could. I really could.
but my takeaway from this is, I think it's true. I think part of the problem, and not to single out women or men, or this is a problem with the games, and I think to a certain
Yes.
extent we're all playing games. I think Michelle, you're playing a game too, not the same game that these women are playing, the games that are exasperating you, but like you said, it's a numbers game, right? I think this attitude that we come to the dating apps or the dating world and systematize it, and it's a game. And I think part of the challenge is that we do approach all of this as a game. It's the numbers. It's the women are playing certain games because I want to extract something out of it. I want to extract a dinner or a castle in Beverly Hills or a man with a lot of money or whatever it is that you're looking for. And and then everybody says they're looking for a relationship. Fuck you. You're not looking for a relationship. You're not
Yeah.
getting to connect with people. You're looking
Yeah.
for a guy who's 6'2". You're looking for a woman with great boobs. I mean, you're looking for great sex. Let's all be real. Let's all be honest. Let's be honest about what the fuck we're looking for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
we're all playing
it's
games.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. And for men, for example, for me and a lot of guys, oftentimes, like I said earlier, is like we make our decision after sex, and so once we've seen the woman naked and whatever, and everything is good, she's great in bed, we're interacting good, then we decide, okay, now I can be um, um, what do you say, selective, not selective, but we can start a relationship and exclusive. And so now she fits all the criteria and you move on. But then if the sex is awful or whatever, you just move on. And then, or the women, like, they make these jokes. It's like, well, if you're not 6 foot tall, you're not this, whatever. I don't have any hair. And some women are saying, it's like, you're shallow because you want this and that. There's, well, how about you? Don't you want a guy? If you meet a guy that's got a 1-inch penis, is like, are you going to say no? And then she rolls her eyes and she says, I hate you. I say, yeah, because I told you the truth. And bottom line, if the guy doesn't have a 6 or 8-inch personality, you're going to bail out on him too. You also have sexual requirement in a man.
Yeah,
And
everybody
so
does. People are people are
uh,
people. Yeah.
it works both ways. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, you could call it the game or it's a numbers game, whatever it is. But you have to find ways to select people out, like women select guys out like that, because they have so many in their rosters waiting in line. And oftentimes, women reaches out to you 2 months later after like a different dating app have different setup. You like a picture, and then the women respond 3 months later, and then I said 3 months later is like, I must be like number 100 at the bottom of your list. And so at that point, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to engage with her. I might say hi just to see it. And it's like, of course, she ran out of all her guys. And then, I was on a date. I was in a relationship for 3 months. And then here I am. It's like, yeah, whatever. So if it doesn't happen instantaneously, it's oftentimes the interest is not quite there. That's one aspect of looking at things. And so, but
Yeah. Michel, you
it's like,
found it before. I'm confident you'll find it again. There's someone
oh
for
yeah,
everyone out there.
I'm not worried. It's time and effort. You got to persist, and somebody's out there, and then you never know. I just met someone on Wednesday night, and everything was good, and she's very talkative, very straightforward, and what she's looking in for, and then we're playful, and she, you know, like I said, again, I sat at the bar next to each other. That way, it's easier to have eye on eye. And she puts her hand touches me on the shoulder. She puts her hand on my lap, and then she starts crawling up. And she says, "I'm looking for a relationship, and then a guy I can have great sex with." And it's like, see, she brought it up,
Oh,
and then she goes like,
promising.
she even said like, she says, I have big boobs, and then of
Oh
course
my
it's obvious,
God.
but then I said, really? I didn't notice. And then she reaches forward and said, "Oh, I said, this is promises." I said, "What were we talking about?" And so you become playful with the whole thing, and then once in a while you strike out. I mean, you don't strike out. You have a um, you meet someone, and like my ex-girlfriend that I had for 7 years,
You had a home
that's what
run.
happened. It was, and the sex happened right away, and then I told her, in my mind, I told myself she's the one, and I dropped the dating website. I focus on her, and now I got to replicate that.
Yeah,
Hope springs eternal.
you will. You will,
Yeah.
Michelle. But I
Well,
really
Yeah.
appreciate you just going out there and telling us everything without any filters. Some of it was hard to hear, but I accept it.
Good for you.
And I accept that, you're probably speaking on behalf of a lot of guys out there who are in the same shoes. So thank you for chatting with us today.
thank you so much for your
More
time,
welcome.
Michelle. All right. Well, best of
Yeah.
luck to you in
Yeah.
your numbers game.
Listen, when women tell me good luck to you, and I said luck has nothing to do with it. Luck is for Vegas. You have to go. You have to persist and
You have to
move
have a
forward.
system. You have to have game, as
Yeah,
Gina says.
forget about game. Let's call it like a system.
A system.
You have to deselect
It's hard work.
the
It's
Yep.
hard work.
undesirable.
And you're putting it in.
Yep.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
You're
This
welcome.
has been another episode of I Hate Dating Apps,
And you can't love with them.
and you can't live without them.
Till next time.
I hate dating apps.
Hey, app daters and haters, tell us your dating app experience, and we just might bring you on as a guest for future episodes. Head to ihatedatingapps.com and click on the big yellow Tell Us Your Story button. You can't miss it. We've got a lot of fun content on our social channels, so please follow us at I Hate Dating Apps on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And on Instagram, we're at I Hate Dating Apps Pod. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast.